You are watching the Nothing Podcast with Nobody Important, where a group of nobodies speak to an actual somebody. And now your hosts, John and Frank.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm John.
I'm Frank.
And this is the Nothing Podcast.
With Nobody Important.
And we finally did it, Frank. We've reached it. The Season 4 finale.
We're done!
It's over. Season 4 is a wrap. And boy, we really went out on a high note. Because he's a musician. He's a musician.
High note.
We have with us Pasquale Gee.
Yeah.
Who is a singer-songwriter from the area.
Yeah.
He's doing big things. And we got into a lot of, talking about what music means to us.
Yeah, that was
We went
cool.
to some unexpected places in this episode, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and he also performed live for us twice.
Yeah, 2 live performances in this show, plus 1 live performance of a brand new song written by me that you've never heard. So
what was it called?
You'll have to watch and find out. So yeah, we got into some really cool things, and this is our wrap up for the season. So I really do. All jokes aside, I really think that this is a very strong episode.
Yeah,
really a lot of heart, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it.
And really a good guy.
Yeah,
just
really.
That's a good dude.
Yeah, you know,
right?
and it's unique. Usually, I mean, not to give it away, but usually we know our guests. This was an experience where we did not know him. We did not know Pasquale,
no.
And he came in, and boy, what a great fit he was.
Yeah, and I thought Pasquale Gee was the name of the ISIS place, but that's Uncle Louis.
That's Uncle Louis Gee.
So his branding should probably shift, but other than that, he's a great musician.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So with that said, take a stroll down 7th Street.
Play your body like a drum.
Get in line for some chips.
And shove as much as you can into your blue puffy coat.
And please welcome this week's guest.
I'm Pasquale Gee, and I'm a singer-songwriter.
John, how's it going?
It's going well.
Okay. I have to tell you something. This
Please.
is a confession.
Yes.
One of my favorite things about the Nothing Podcast with Nobody Important is not you.
Okay.
I know.
Offended.
It's not Danielle.
Okay.
It's not Adele.
Okay.
It's not the studio that we've sunk way too much money into.
Okay.
It's that this show connects people.
Right.
You agree?
I agree.
People usually we don't know.
That's right.
Sometimes people we do know.
Mm-hmm.
Connecting to our listeners even.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't have any.
I know we're getting somewhere.
6 years ago.
Okay.
I'll tell you a little story. I took a class. Doesn't matter what it was in. And I met somebody at that class who's a musician.
Okay.
Who's brilliant.
Yes.
Who's gone on to be very successful.
Uh-huh.
It's not Shakira, like you all might be thinking. And I haven't seen this person in 6 years.
Great.
And now he's sitting across from us because of this show.
There he is.
Here he is, Pasquale Gee.
Welcome. Welcome. 6 years later, it finally paid off.
And that intro was 5 years long.
What
So
intro?
this is 11 years now.
Being friends with Frank finally paid off. How's it feel?
It feels great. I'm
But
happy
seriously,
to be here. I love the show.
how'd you like the class? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you are a singer-songwriter
Yes.
from Brooklyn, New York,
Yeah, I'm
right?
from Marine Park.
From Marine Park.
Represent.
I was going to say OG. What can we say? What's the zip code in Marine Park?
11234.
Yeah,
Wow.
represent 234.
Yeah.
Why do they cut the
Why
1
did
1
you
off?
say 2, 3, 4? Is that what they say?
Well, actually, it's so funny. This is really getting off to a good
I don't
start.
think people represent zip codes. I think they're more like area codes, right? Like
Area
Oh,
code.
so what are you, 718?
Yeah.
We're all
That's why I
718.
was like, why does
Yeah, right.
Pitbull only have 3 numbers?
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Mr. 11234.
Represent
Mr.
234.
11234. Also, easiest zip code to remember. 1,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Danielle's like, what is this show about?
Before we start, though, what any highlights in Marine Park that people should know about? Tourism, anything? Great.
No.
All right. So there's
He
nothing
said
there.
no.
There's nothing there. There was a Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, so before we start, thanks for laughing. Before we start, we're gonna do a lightning round.
Okay.
The lightning round is designed to make you feel comfortable, and we do that by barraging you with questions in the first 30 seconds of your interview. So, Pasquale, because you're a musician,
Never works.
never works. Your lightning round, and there's going to be 30 seconds on the clock, is simple. You just have to identify as many musicians that you can name that we like.
You have to just in the one time 6 years ago that you knew Frank.
Yeah.
And the last half hour that you've seen me puttering around the studio.
Yeah, that's it.
Based on your
It's easy.
opinion, what kind of music do we like? Who do we like?
All right.
Are you
Time's
guys
on the
gonna
clock.
give me any indication that I'm right or wrong?
No. Yes, yeah,
No, yeah, of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Ready? Time's on the clock. Go.
Phil Collins.
Of course.
Sure.
Elton John.
Yeah, especially with Dua Lipa. He's
Yeah.
back, baby.
Dua Lipa.
Danielle likes Dua Lipa.
Shakira.
No.
Adele likes Shakira.
Journey.
Journey.
Journey, of
Love
course.
Journey.
Bruce Springsteen.
Of course.
No, I'm out. Hard out on Bruce
Okay,
Springsteen.
Bon Jovi.
Oh, he's very corny. His
corny.
name is Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
He's gotta go.
Taylor Swift.
I gotta
no.
respect Taylor
She's
Swift.
like a
You
seagull
gotta
with
respect
lipstick on. I
Tay
can't.
Swift.
Phoebe Bridgers.
Never heard of her. Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
No,
Crazy Heart.
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith's great. Yeah,
I love
yeah.
Steven
Definitely.
Tyler.
Who else? The Rolling Stones.
Rolling
I'm supposed to say
Stones.
yes, but I don't really know enough.
I don't like the Rolling Stones at all.
You don't. You
No.
do a good Mick Jagger, don't you? There it is.
There it is. Who else?
I mean, it's got to be at least 30 seconds up already.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you did it. Did he do it?
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, thanks.
Well done.
Do we have a prize for him?
What? You guessed our musicians well.
Yes.
What musicians do you like?
My favorite musician is Phil Collins.
Okay.
But I like musicians from all across the spectrums. I like Phil Collins because, he's a rhythm guy, he's a ballad guy, he can do it all.
Sure.
I
Tarzan.
like
We love
acoustic
Tarzan.
music, Bon Iver,
Right. Yeah.
that stuff. And then I'm a fan of rap, and
Sure.
I like to, dip my toes. And
You pull influence from everywhere.
Yeah.
What is your genre if you had to classify yourself?
I mean, I think I take a lot of different genres that influence me. So, Spotify classifies me as pop, but
Okay.
yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything. I think with music, just like anything else nowadays, like with basketball, you can't be like a center and just be a big guy. You have to be able to shoot.
we definitely get that reference.
Yeah.
No, all right.
So-
You gotta be able to. Right. You gotta be able to do all the things, pull from all the different places. So you do everything yourself.
Yeah.
So that means that you produce, write, play various instruments,
Yeah.
and mix it all.
Yeah. So yeah, I obviously write the song and then produce it by playing different instruments and synthesizers and working the DAW.
What does that mean for us laymen?
So it's basically an interface like Logic Pro and Ableton. So
Got it.
a program. And then after I produce it, I record it, all the vocals, backing vocals, all that stuff. And then once that's done, I have to mix everything together and then master it so it's the correct level for like Spotify, Apple Music, and all that stuff.
Wow. So before you came, we were popping through your Spotify and listening to stuff. You're telling me that was just all you alone?
Yeah, from 2018 on,
That's crazy.
that's all me. Yeah.
Wow. And so how long have you been how long have you been really doing it? Would you say
Like music or just like doing it myself?
music?
So I started writing music. I was always like creatively writing and things like that, but I didn't like hit my stride or find my rhythm with it in anything. No pun intended. But then in I would say like 2014, 2015, 2013 around,
Okay.
I picked up a guitar and taught myself and was like, let me put these words into music. And
Wow.
yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
You know what the question is?
What?
Because he said, put these words.
Yeah.
What's the question? The age-old question.
I don't know.
What comes first?
Oh yeah. Chicken or the
The
egg?
chicken or the egg?
No. The music or the lyrics.
It depends. Like sometimes I'll have a really interesting first line. Sometimes I'll have like a line that like takes me back and I'll be like, okay, I got to write around this. But then like other times, like this is what I like to do for fun. So I'm always playing. So that at any time, something could come to me. I'll be just messing around, be like, oh wow, that's good. I'll record it on my voice notes. And then later I will put it down to keys and things like that. So it could vary from music first or lyrics first. But a lot of times it's music first because I'll just sit down and just...
Wherever the inspiration strikes is what you kind of go towards.
I'll just sit around because, I like to play music. So
Do you feel like vulnerable when you share this stuff out? I would imagine. I mean, if anything, as an artist, right? Everybody's an artist in different ways in this room. You're an artist as a musician. You put yourself on the line. You're not only writing it, so we know that this is coming from your soul, but it's your voice. It's your orchestrations. Don't you feel like, I'd be mortified to have people hear that. I'd be so embarrassed.
And so I'm not like the most outgoing guy. I'm pretty like reserved and or shy to like unless you know me and get me to open up. But it's like this weird dynamic I think about a lot because like I'm not really open like that.
Right.
Like I'm not really out there, but
You don't let
here,
people in necessarily.
But here I am, like saying the most vulnerable stuff in like specifics.
Yeah.
So it's a really weird kind of dynamic that I think about a lot.
But that's your channel, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's your way. Everybody has a way, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Danielle expresses herself through art on paper, and you know, somebody like I was thinking about the dynamic between like we had a comedian on a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about because I'm hearing about how you record voice notes. Same thing where he'll write bits down, right? And that's how he expresses himself. And so maybe he's, you know, reserved in every other way, but that's your channel, your lane.
Yeah. And I've heard that before I got into music. You know, they say, you know, express yourself this way, you know, it's a good outlet and all that stuff. And it's so true and it's so obvious and you hear it all the time, but you don't really believe it. But it didn't hit me until like I played my first ever like open mic where I was like, this is wild. And that's a story in itself. So
I mean, we have time.
I was just thinking about it. I was like, but
Okay.
if you played your first open mic and no one liked it, just no
one liked it?
Your path could have gone in a whole nother direction. You'd been like, well, this didn't work.
So there's a couple of times in my time doing music where if this person would have did something else, I would have stopped. Like the first song I ever wrote, or the first couple of songs I ever wrote, I brought it to my friend who was in a band who I respected musically, because the friends I have, they're like great friends. I love my friends, but it's different when you're talking to somebody who makes music. You could get on a whole nother level with them, you know. So
is there a competitive nature that's underlying that, or no?
No, it's just like he was in a band. I followed that band for a while. I helped him with videos and stuff, so I respected his opinion. I knew he wasn't gonna like judge me or anything like that. So I played him a song, and it wasn't very good. It was like years ago. I didn't take any, you know, I wasn't singing or anything like that, but I sang for him on whatever. And he was like, let's record this right now. But if he would have turned around and said, like, no, like maybe try this or try that, I would have stopped. Like I was that thing.
Wow, you were that sort of dependent on someone else's.
Well, it's the support that you need to get yourself
But
going.
honestly, but that's literally all it is, because once that happened, the next week I went to his house and we recorded like a 6-song EP in his closet. And I put it out and it wasn't very good. It's still online now. And I guess people didn't like it. I got like some negative feedback and stuff like that. And that's how I knew I wanted to do music, because I got negative feedback, and knowing me and like my history, if I heard anything bad about myself, I would stop immediately.
Right.
But I knew that I loved it because I got negative feedback, and not only did it not make me want to stop, it wanted me to go even
That's incredible.
further.
Yeah.
That's
That is
I was
really-
so hoping that's what you were going to say.
So that's how I knew, like, I have to do this. Like,
It's your
helpful.
calling.
Yeah. It's something that I love, and I couldn't say that for a lot of things, you know, doing things. Obviously, I love a lot of people and things like that. But
did you dabble in other artistic things before you settled into this, or no?
no, not really. I was never a good artist. I'm always jealous of people who could draw and things like that. I've always been envious of people who were in theater, because the idea
No big deal.
because the idea of a show and everything that goes into theater has always been so kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I never had the courage to do it in school. So that was always intriguing to me. But music's really the only one where I kind of threw myself in it. I mean, poetry, I write so.
Music is amazing to me because I you know, it's funny. I was literally thinking about this earlier. I was listening to Bo Burnham. You know Bo Burnham, right?
Yeah.
So I was listening to Bo Burnham in the car, which I've never done before, because I find that his music plus the visuals are part of what makes it work.
It's half of it.
But I was like, let me just listen to it in the car. I am of the belief, and we could get into it privately later, but Danielle and I might have a long talk about it. I think that he is a genius songwriter, almost unintentionally, right? And I said to myself, you know, I play a little piano. I know music. I've been working on music my whole life. I'm a singer for years. I've never tried to write music, ever. And I said, what's stopping me from sitting down and going, let's see if a tune comes to me and I'll put some words to it. But I am certain it would not work.
Really?
Right?
Why?
Just because I know. Every once in a while I'll get a spurt where I'll go, I'm going to sit down and try to play the piano. And the minute I sit down, I go, oh, yeah, that's right. It all sounds like C. And I just move on. But it's funny that you say that you're envious and you can't get the you couldn't get the
Courage.
the courage, thank you, behind you to go and do theater or something like that. But I'm sitting here on the other side saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Where did you get the I keep saying chutzpah on
balls.
this show.
It's
Thank you
balls to
Will,
do that.
for let's keep it PG.
Yeah.
Test me.
That's me. PG.
So hey, there he is. So no, but like to sit down and go, I'm gonna try to write something out of the clear blue sky is the most daunting thing I could possibly think of. So what made you decide to say, I think I can do this?
So I felt like growing up, I jumped from friend group to friend group. I didn't have like a lot of friends. I spent a lot of time by myself. And so I felt like I didn't have kind of an identity. I didn't have like a thing. I felt like all my friends had like a thing and stuff like that. So I knew I loved music. You know, I was a headphone kid. I was always, listening to music and all that stuff. So I knew I wanted to do something along the lines with music. So I started making beats and all this stuff. And I was like, if I'm going to get into music, I want to do for people what music did for me. And I don't want to be somebody who, sings other people's songs or does covers, because those are people who I think love music and love to just play music. I love to make music and I love to write music. So I sat down and I was like, everything that I have to do has to be me, 100%. Right. So I would sit there and I would write, poor songs. Like, they weren't very good. I mean, I think the writing was always kind of decent, but the song itself wouldn't always come together. Because I always viewed my music as like spoken word poetry. Like, if I could stand there and say my songs, they would still hit kind of just as hard. But yeah, to find that courage was really hard, and it all leads up to, going into that first show and feeling like because 2015 I was living by myself. So story is, I was in college. I lived with like 10 guys or 8 guys for like 3 years of college. And
Sounds terrible.
It was fun. It was a great time because I spent
no schoolwork got done.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time in high school kind of being a headphone kid and kind of staying in on weekends and not really doing much. I really was just always with my family and stuff. So when college came around, I was always with my friends. College was just like home, but you were living with your friends.
Right,
like,
right.
You would come home from school and your friends would be there.
They were
all
there,
the time.
right, yeah.
Awesome.
So living with 7 of your best friends for like a couple years, and then senior year, I ended up living with only one friend because a couple of my friends were older. They graduated, and he had a girlfriend, so he was going home all the time. So I spent a lot of time that year on my own, and it was a pretty important year because I was graduating that year, and I started to really fall in love with music, and I was writing music, and I was recording in that kid's closet, my friend Pete, and I wanted to do music, but I was graduating, and so there was all this stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm going to play a show, an open mic. And now at this point, I'm away at college. So my mom knows that like I tried to teach myself the guitar. They know that I've always been like a headphone kid, but I've never went to my mom and dad and was like, I write music now. This is what I do. Hi.
Right.
You might as well say, I'm a puppeteer.
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. Like here's the most vulnerable piece of me, mom and dad, here.
Right.
Because they're not musical people. They're not like,
Right.
Yeah, I didn't come from a musical background and things like that. So I was like, everybody I'm a fan of has played open mics or shows. It's New York City. It's New York City, baby.
New York City, you know it's about the Big Apple.
Yeah. So
2, 3, 4.
I looked up, open mics in Brooklyn or New York City, whatever. And I found one in Williamsburg.
Where was the first one?
Was it Kettle Black?
No, it was in Williamsburg. It was in Williamsburg. It was called the Candy Shop. Williamsburg does this thing where they take old places, like piano bars. I've played piano bars that are now actual bars, and then there's like a karate place, a dojo. It's like, this isn't a karate place anymore. Don't even bother taking off the karate sign. It's chops and shots. It's a bar now.
Right.
And so I played at this candy shop thing, candy store, and it was my first time ever playing in front of people. First time ever going to an open mic. First time ever not knowing what to do. So I was like, Dad, could you drive me?
I'm sweating hearing the story.
Yeah.
I'm watching a horror movie right now.
So my dad's like, yeah, I'll drive you. Now my mom knows that I'm like living by myself, and I guess my mood was changing and things like that. So she was like, I'll come for the ride. You know, you want to play a show? I'll come, whatever. So I'm in the back seat. My mom and dad are driving me to the show out in Williamsburg, and we're never in Williamsburg. You know, we're from Marine Park. There's traffic, whatever. We go. There's no parking in Williamsburg.
No.
So they're like, go in. You know, do whatever you got to do. If you find the spot, we'll come in. So I go in, and it's an open mic night. It's not just a music night.
Do
so
whatever you gotta do.
Yeah. So there's not just music. There's like comedians there.
Yeah.
Spoken word poets.
Sure.
Musicians. And so when I walk in, and let me just give you the demo of the demographic of the people that are there. So I go in, and there's a guy yelling at us, at the audience. He's yelling at us. Yeah, that, and I walk in, and he's like, oh, another guy with an instrument. Blah, blah, blah. He's yelling that we pay too much for instruments, and that, you know, we're doing this, we're doing that. And then he goes on for like 5 minutes. You get like 12 minutes to like play. 5 minutes, he's ranting.
What's his shtick? He's a what?
He played a song on his body parts. He's like, your body is an instrument.
No, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
this
That's
guy.
so
Yeah.
terrible. Do
We
you
gotta
have
get
his
that guy. Do we
contact
have
information?
contact?
He's like, and here is
Steve Instagram?
here's my set. Do you remember?
Oh,
No,
wow,
he did not.
Wow.
Yeah,
But was it good?
I didn't hate it.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it.
I'm
I didn't hate
picturing
it.
him. He takes his bits. He strings them out like a bass, like an upright bass.
Oh, God.
So he went,
Strings them
and then,
out.
so I sat down, I put my name down. A couple of people went. A comedian went. You know, when a comedian, they're doing jokes, and then they're ripping on people in the crowd.
Right.
This guy's like making fun of me.
What a hack.
I had a smaller guitar than this because
Uh-huh.
I'm not like a big guy.
Okay, didn't know guitars came in different sizes.
Yeah.
Just learned something.
He was up there with a ukulele.
Yeah. So and he looked at me. He's like making fun of me, and he's like, you know, that's a small guitar. What do you do with that? You know, small hole, you little perv. Blah, blah, blah. And he's like making all these like jokes, and like I was
Regular
like,
Richard Pryor.
oh yeah,
set himself on fire.
yeah, and I was like, this guy's got no clue how sad I am. Like, I was like, this guy's.
You do not know what you're doing to me, sir.
I was like, this guy's making fun of me. I'm about to like spill my heart out on the gut, like on the floor for these people. But I was like, I was like real funny guy, whatever. And then, so what they do is they say who's up next and who's up now. So they say up next, Pasquale Gee. They butcher my name, so I'm gonna get it right.
They called you Pasquale?
Like Pasquale Gee, something like that.
Pasquale Gee.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's a clarified butter. Clarified Italian butter. Pasquale Gee.
So, whatever. He's like, next up, you know, Pasquale Gee. Playing now was like Slice Me Up, Catherine was like the name of the band.
Okay.
So I looked around and I said, uh-oh.
Oh,
I was like, uh-oh. Who's about to get on stage?
Yeah.
Like, what's the deal?
Well, who's your warm-up act?
4 people get on stage.
Okay.
A tambourine.
Cajon.
Cajon. Whoa.
I see that.
Yeah, his wife just is a
in the
home player.
band.
Just joined his wife's band. Don't give too much credit.
So I knew
Cool.
that. I saw one this week.
A cajon. A tambourine. I think a guitar and a violin or a mandolin. Something.
Mandolin, sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
We wanted to
And-
be that.
Their song was something like, it was like a long sentence that was like taking shots.
But their name of their band is Slice Me Up, Catherine.
Something like it was like Slice Me Up or something.
He's about to Google "Slice Me Up, Catherine." So.
Check. I'm
I
curious.
wouldn't. I don't know if it's Catherine. It might have been like Lauren or something.
Yeah, well, you go on. He'll come
And
around.
the name of the song was like, it was like, would you still like, don't charge me property tax if I live in this tree or something
Oh
like that.
God!
This
It
is
was
very-
like-
yeah.
They were all wearing sandals.
So you know that you
don't
know
know.
what you're up for.
You know you better already.
Keep in mind, like these people are, I don't want to say like these people, but this band is like, they have fans at the open mic, and like
Sure.
the fans are just like them.
They're all wearing
as
sandals.
as passionate, as like really go hard about
Yeah, sure.
all this stuff.
A packed house, not a broad sight.
I'm in a Knicks t-shirt.
Yeah.
and sneakers. And
Yeah,
so
wrong demographic.
yeah. And so okay, so it gets good. So now it's my turn. So I'm walking up and I'm thinking to myself, I've never ever plugged my guitar in, and I've never sang in front of I've never sang into a microphone before. The only microphone I've sang into looked like this. It had a pop mic, and it was for recording.
Right.
I've never used one of those classic microphones. So I asked the guy, I was like, because I thought to myself, I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. So I said, would you mind if I don't plug my guitar in, don't sing into the microphone, and don't stand on stage? It was like a very narrow.
I like this.
Very narrow.
Great.
But you're setting yourself apart right now.
Very narrow, like kind of room. So I said, and I was one of the last people, so people were kind of, getting ready to leave. So I was like, everybody could kind of stand up or stand around me, and we'll kind of have like a jam, and I'll play music.
Brilliant.
With no setup,
Mm-hmm.
no amp, no mic, whatever.
You were obviously inspired by the guy who plays on his body.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, you guys pay too much for microphones. So I get down and I play my song, and like, it's one of those things where I can't explain it, and you hear people say like, oh, you just can't explain the feeling,
Right.
and you really just can't, like, because I felt like there was so much weight on me at that time in my life, and it just wasn't there when I was playing the song. I'm like, halfway through the song, who do I see in like the circle? My mom, my dad, I guess, found parking, and my mom's in like a fur, like a coat, and my dad's in like his hat, and the look on their faces was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Because they had no idea what was about to happen. They didn't know where I was,
I
like,
didn't even know what you were going there for.
yeah, because like I spoke to them daily, like I saw them all the time, but they didn't know. When I told them I like music and I was making music and stuff like that, they had no clue that like it was to this extent.
Right. What you meant by it.
Because
yeah.
music is one of those things where it's like, oh, you like music, great. And then when you see somebody you know for such a long time, let alone your family, all of a sudden start singing.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's just like, whoa. So I like caught one of their eyes while I was playing the song, and I just kind of started laughing because like they had no idea what they were walking into. And then I finished playing the song, and we went in the car, and it was just not the funnest car ride home because I don't know. And then
it wasn't nothing. They were very confused. I
yeah,
imagine.
no, they really enjoyed it, but like it was all compliments, but I just can't take a compliment. They're
Right.
like, I
Okay.
love it, whatever. So,
But can I ask a question? When you started playing, did other people start jamming with you? Like, would you have the tambourine? Was the guy over there like?
No. they were respectful to like the song, and they were like listening and swaying, and then
I love a good sway.
The
Like
end.
a home guy was
Yeah.
packing it up, and they stopped, and he started hitting it.
yeah, the guy's like, but they all seem to kind of enjoy it and be respectful, and thank goodness, because honestly, if it went poorly, I don't know what
Right. How
what
that
could have
would-
happened. But yeah, I did that, and I was like, I love this, I want to do it. And then after that, a friend of mine sent me a tweet from a pretty big, she was a big actress, and now she was directing. So she was like, I'm looking for music for this, movie, whatever. So I sat in my basement. I had no recording equipment because I used to record with that kid. So I used like a snowball microphone, and I recorded a song, and I sent it to this director. And like, I didn't know it was like I was using a snowball mic in my basement, but I wasn't like, this is bad. Here you go. I was like, this is decent. Here you
Right.
go.
Mm-hmm.
And she loved it. She was like, this is
Wow.
incredible, all this stuff. She loved the song, I guess because she's a singer-songwriter herself.
It was just instrumental, or you had vocals?
It was Amy Jo Johnson.
From
from
Power Rangers?
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
Kimberly.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The Pink Ranger.
We like it.
Yeah. So
That was my crush.
Sure.
That was the
I
best
had the
Ranger.
pog next to my bed. Go on.
Did you meet her?
wait. So we
My
swapped.
God, don't tell me to wait.
Sizzling on
I'm,
his,
I'm
on his
burning up.
So she loved the song. She was like, I wanted to open the film, all the stuff. It was like her movie.
Okay,
So we-
just to be told, Amy Jo Johnson, not known for her directorial prowess,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it was a great movie. Okay.
So we went back and forth in email and all that stuff, and I was like, "This is a decent song, but I don't see it in a movie. Like, it's not professionally done. It's not mixed.
Yeah.
It's not mastered." And so we went back and forth. She loves the song. She wants to open the movie, and then a couple of weeks later, she emails me back and was like, "I love the song. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit sound-wise with the other songs on the movie, And I went to listen to the other songs that were chosen, and it was like they were all legitimate, produced out songs, and all this stuff. She asked me to make like a produced version and stuff, and I tried, but it was all me at that point, and I was not very good. So that didn't work out. But the fact that
She was interested.
the fact that somebody like that was interested,
Yeah.
was another thing that I was like,
Have you sent her your Spotify link? Shoot her a
I
link
got
tree
you.
on Twitter.
I every time I put out a song, I tell myself, I'm like, I gotta tweet Amy Jo Johnson.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah,
Did you?
Because
Have
I
you?
haven't yet. I'll do it.
Send her this episode.
Yeah, I will. Actually, I will.
That's amazing, though. But the fact that you just had the confidence in yourself, or it sounds like you might not even have had the confidence in yourself, but didn't matter. You did it anyway. You just sent it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what the hell?
I didn't have
Why
anything to
not?
lose, yeah.
You have nothing to lose.
Yeah. It was one of those, yeah.
But I think as a young artist and you're embarking on it's a journey, right? And you're only going with your gut and your passion. You need those little rewards that tell you you're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
If
Right.
you don't have that, you're throwing it out into the void. You need those small. Well, that's not
I mean,
small.
we're
But
still waiting.
you,
But feels like we throw these into the void.
Chobani, you need those wins
Yeah.
early on to give you the wind under your
Definitely.
in your sails.
That kept me going for sure because I was, so close to like getting a job in the city and taking a train every day and all that stuff. I was like, I'm not ready to do that. I was like, and this was enough to kind of prove to the people around me that like there might be something here. Like, give me some time.
Yeah.
Give me,
Well, it's funny. It's funny too that, I mean, not to talk about us because we don't need to talk anymore about
I
us
want
than
to
we already have.
hear stories.
No, but I have not a dissimilar story. I mean, when I was doing radio in the beginning, 10 years ago, I was doing radio in college, and like everybody does college radio thing, whatever. And then I had Z100 and KTU morning shows have reach out to me
Wow.
with interest in utilizing me or whatever, and it ended up not working. But it's that happening even
course.
years later is what gave me the continuing desire to want to do something like this show.
Yeah.
And then really it was also Danielle who, after years of hearing me say that I want to go back to doing radio, was eventually like, okay, well then let's just fill an Amazon cart and figure out what we want to do.
Yeah.
But Danielle is my constant barometer for success, and I'm sure everybody has that. But like,
Yeah.
I'll send her something, and if she doesn't like it, no matter how confident I am in it, crush it, it's done.
Danielle,
Yeah. That's good though.
she
You
is
need
Miss
those
Trunchbull.
people.
There she is.
So no, she doesn't crush it every time.
Right.
But if she does,
She's the barometer. I get it.
if she crushes it, it's out. If
Yeah.
Frank loves it, here's the mood, right? Let's say I want to write a song.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to write a song. I'm going to play it for Frank. My feelings on that song are going to go this way,
Yeah.
right away. I'm going to play it for Danielle. Hard left.
She's gonna be like, Frank likes this, right?
Every time. Every time. It's like I am like a glass of water. You just Frank builds me up always, and Danielle brings it right down to the ground.
Yesterday, we're on the phone, and he's saying, I'm laughing all the time with him. And he said, she's in the background, and he goes, Danielle, do you hear Frank laughing at me? Do you hear how he laughs at my jokes? Do you ever hear it? And
Danielle
she
never
does
laughs
this
at anything I say.
Radio silence from Danielle.
Never laughs at Frank. Laughs at like a sneeze, and Frank would laugh.
I think it's so funny.
Danielle literally never.
Never.
But that's the kind of thing where it's like you need that.
The yin and the yang.
Right. But but I mean, you need that. If you have a constant place to turn
Yeah.
to say what I'm doing is still worth doing, then you'll continue. If you don't have that somewhere, in your early days especially, you're gonna fall off. I mean, all jokes aside, I mean, the reason that we even came back for a third season after a year off was because Danielle was the one who kept saying, the show's good.
It is.
Let's continue.
Yeah.
Because we were kind of like, are we really, who's going to miss us?
Like
Like,
Wait.
everything in life. We're like,
Wait.
no.
But the podcast also did have one of those moments at the end of the first season. We had that. We were about to have.
Okay.
We were considering doing a second season, and then we got reached out by a podcast like hosting
by a podcast
situation.
network. By
Really?
a
And
network,
it just felt amazing. I remember we actually had like
Champagne.
champagne and like
Really?
cheers.
We did,
Oh,
yeah.
congrats.
That it was that a network had shown interest in us, and we ended up not going with them
Because then they would have owned us.
they wanted to own the show. But it felt. You're right, Danielle.
did feel
felt
great.
It felt nice to have that interest, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, like, just because people, there's so much volume of podcasts and music and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you can't knock yourself if nobody sees it now, because it's so good,
Yeah.
you know? Like, this podcast is so good.
Yeah.
I
thought
wouldn't
you
have
meant in
agreed with
general.
you. I wouldn't have
We
agreed with
were-
you. Yeah, you're
Yes.
right. No, well.
But also, there's a saturated market. But if it's something that you, as a creator, love to do,
Yeah.
you have to just do it.
Of course.
The end. Like,
Yeah.
there-
And I think the pandemic was something that took the blindfold off of a lot of people, and people kind of honed in on what was important to them and what they liked to do, because there was nothing else to do.
Right.
Now,
There's
when
nothing
you
else to
when
do.
you mentioned the pandemic, what are you speaking?
You're dating us.
Yeah.
No, but you're right. You're right. I mean,
It did. Yeah, sure. People
Like,
viewed
I-
things
like-
because they were home.
Yeah, they were home. People realized, I got a lot of friends that realized that, like, you know, their world is their job, and their job just like fired them.
Yep.
Like, you were taking a train 2 hours to work, and now you can literally do it from your computer. Like, people really kind of honed in on what was important to them. And for me, like, I get nervous a lot. So once they canceled sports, they canceled like schools, they canceled all this stuff, I'm like, that's it. We're done.
but yeah, it's the end.
That's it.
We're
You
the
Done
end
as a
time.
civilization.
But
we're
you know
done.
what? But I said, you know, you could take away, you know, however I make money, you could take away, you know, everything. I'll be able to write a song. I'll be able to make music. Everything that I love to do, I have my family and music. And I think it took people time to realize that. And that's something I'm always glad about, because I always had it. And I always tried to tell people, you know, you have to do something that you love. Like, even if you do work, like if you have a job and you hate it, whatever, you have to come home and you have to do something that you really, really enjoy. It's so important.
Yeah.
That dynamic.
I think about that sometimes. The people we basically know the same people, right? More or less, and it's like the people we know.
We
Yeah,
even
it's
know
starting to get,
basically
like,
the
You
same
guys
thing.
even know the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
people. And it's like a lot of people we know do very similar things to us, some
Yeah.
sort of entertainment, or they do art, or they do music. But then I also think like people in my family, and I look at others, and it's like, oh, they don't do anything like that. What do you
Dude.
What do you do? I know you go to work,
it's
you have a
true.
family,
I don't know.
but it's like you don't like work on stuff. You don't have
Right.
like what do you do? What's your thing?
I wish I had an answer for you. We should bring in someone who doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
On
What
the
do you
Nothing
do?
podcast with No One Important?
what do
That's
you do?
exactly who you should. Like, what do you do? Do you have a passion? Like, what are their passions then?
But everybody has something, right? Sports, like you said. It
Yeah.
could be
Yeah, I guess
video
so.
games. It could be crossword puzzles. It could
Yeah.
be everybody's got their thing, I guess. It's just not as
Takes people a while to find. I think the pandemic was helpful because people found it. I think a lot of people found what they like to do,
Or realize they didn't have
or
it.
realized that they were able to do it now.
right.
Because they weren't able to do it because they were on the train at 6 o'clock. They were on this at this time, so they were able to do it. And seeing people like do things that they really like to do, or find things that they like to do, or be open to doing things, is something that I was really happy at. I've seen a lot of people do.
Yeah.
That's a great
How
point.
did you continue through the pandemic doing music? You just write endlessly?
Yeah. So when the pandemic first hit, I wrote a song called 724, because July 24th was a day that I had spent in the city with one of my very best friends, and it was like I had so much fun that day. We went to the park. We just sat under a tree, ran through the entire of New York City, Central Park, and all that stuff. It was just a great day. And the song kind of tackled around, you know, it feels like we're in trouble. I just want to tell you I love you. Even if I have to spend the rest of my day in a bubble, just know I love you, all that stuff. So it was a kind of tight, sad song. And I titled it something that when I think of that song now, I think of July 24th when I was,
Right.
you know,
Sure.
it's like poop wrapped chocolate, you could say.
Right.
Right? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like
That's what we always call this show.
you know,
Right.
it's something really, really special that when I hear the song, I think of it. And then when I listen to it, it kind of brings me back to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how the pandemic went, writing throughout, you know, definitely different because everything was streaming now. There was no shows.
Right.
So,
right.
changing the marketing and promoting of music. You also I didn't want to be tone deaf to the fact that, people were...
That was hard. That was tough for us too. You don't want to be making jokes.
I don't want to be tone deaf and say, the worst part of this pandemic is, being alone, and you have somebody who's literally losing everything.
Very true. Very true.
So I had to be very careful. I took that time to kind of get better, like work on kind of myself a little bit, taking a step back and, reading a little bit, stepping off like social media and kind of becoming a better musician, a better, I guess, person.
And how is that? How have you changed? How'd you come out the other side?
Well, way more aware, like self-aware of myself, and way more, I feel like, able to talk to people, be a place for people to feel comfortable with, like, things that they're not necessarily comfortable with, like people who want to do something in music or something in poetry or acting or singing, and then but they're 26 or 27 and they have no background or anything like that. I'm somebody who I could say, I've had flack from friends, from family. Trust me, this is what I would do. This is, to experience things and be able to share that with people. I think I came out of the pandemic better. Thank God.
But it's interesting because what you've been saying is, like, your journey sounds like you went from a young guy or a teenager or an adolescent who was pretty closed off in headphones. 'Cause that's what you said 3 times, and it was interesting. And then music kind of helped you find your voice. And then going into lockdown helped you to find your voice without music.
Yeah.
Right? Because it kind of shaped who you are as a person and being a mentor maybe to others or to be an ear for others.
Yeah.
Super interesting journey.
Yeah. It was extremely helpful because I felt really confident in my abilities to not only make music but talk about my music, and I think I just felt extremely lucky because who knew what was going to happen coming out of that. So I was extremely lucky that I was able to do what I love to do the entire time. I got a lot of great songs and things out of it, and that's the thing about music too. Like, really, really crappy things happen. But I could I could write a song and say, this is what I got out of it.
Right. You can tell your own story in the song.
Like I got, if somebody, breaks my heart or does that, it's a really crappy situation. But now I have this. I have something good that came out of it.
Listen, that's the thing. Even in acting, like I had an acting teacher once who said, actors are the only people on earth who try to make themselves feel worse sometimes, right? And like things will happen to you in life that's terrible. And part of my head is like, oh, you got to remember this. Because you never know if you're going to need it.
For sure.
Right? And you're like, just remember this feeling. Because you might need to use this at some point.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
It's very true.
Part of being a human, right? It's
Absolutely.
the whole experience.
Yeah.
So I want to, if you're comfortable with this, I want to ask you to play a song.
Okay.
And then maybe we'll talk a little bit more. And then I'm going to ask you to play a song to close us out also. Do you have 2 in mind?
Okay.
Okay, great.
You do it. You got 100.
So I know, but so let's set one up if that's all right with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna talk about. I don't know. We're gonna play a game.
Yeah.
Cool.
What? Danielle's like, yeah, you're right.
Danielle wants a game.
Danielle, very in favor of a game. Chimed in from behind the table. Yes. All right. So let's set you up.
Okay.
All right. So what are you gonna play for us?
I'm going to play a song called 7th Street. That I haven't released yet. It is almost finished, like produced wise. Wow. But it's written, and I've never played it for anybody before.
Wow. Adele.
Oh my God.
Adele, what would we call this?
Exclusive.
Ooh.
I'm a little bit older. I'm a little bit wiser. I'm a little bit bolder, but my room's still a mess. I'm a little more headstrong. I'm a little more patient. Wrote a couple more sad songs, and my room's still a mess. And I don't want to clean my closet, 'cause I don't want the pain to profit, and I don't want your name to drop. And I don't want to throw out old shoes, painted in streets I've known you. I wish that I reached the top of your list. Yeah, we were anything, dreams were everything. Tears down 7th Street, that's how I lost you. We were anything, dreams were everything. Tears down 7th Street, that's how I lost you. That's how I lost you. I'm a little bit taller, I'm a little bit broader, I'm a little bit smaller, but my room's still a mess. I'm a little dramatic, I'm a little less anxious. I still live in my attic and my room's still a mess. And I don't want to clean my closet, 'cause I don't want the pain to profit, and I don't want your name to drop. And I don't want to throw out old shoes painted in streets I've known you. I wish that I reached the top of your list. Yeah, we were anything. Dreams were everything. Tears down 7th Street, that's how I lost you. We were anything. Dreams were everything. Tears down 7th Street, that's how I lost you, yeah. That's how I lost you. We were anything. Dreams were everything. Tears down 7th Street. That's how I lost you.
Wow.
I met.
Applause.
Yeah.
First time ever on this show.
That's the only
Warranted
time we've
applause.
ever you warranted. That was incredible.
I had to ease
Yeah.
into it in the beginning, but
No,
Yeah.
you're great.
You'd never done that song before out loud.
no. Yeah, so it was hard to like match the tone, but I
Wow.
got through
Danielle.
it halfway through.
It really is
Thank you so
poetry.
much.
It's
Thank you.
poetry.
Yeah.
Whew.
What? You nervous? Were you nervous?
Yeah, when I first started, I couldn't get the tone right, but I was a little
Couldn't tell.
nervous. I was a little nervous.
Couldn't tell.
I mean, you wrote it. We don't know.
So envious of
I
that
know.
ability.
Do you wish you could
So-
do that?
Oh my God, do I wish I could do that?
And there's something just so like simple about it and
Yeah.
deep. And you didn't even play the guitar loud, which I was like, that's so gentle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me ask you about finding your voice.
Yeah.
This is a two-part question. One is a bit more of a it's not funny, but it's funny to me. But I guess it's funny, controversial. We'll get into that a little bit. But how did you decide? Your singing voice is a little different from your speaking voice, tonality-wise, or whatever.
Yeah.
As a kid, I used to do a really great impression of the guy from. I couldn't sing as a kid, unless I was singing as the guy from Hootie and the Blowfish, or anyone
Darius, no.
or anyone like him.
Gary, I think it's there.
Darius
Yeah,
Rucker.
yeah. 3 Doors Down. Not 3 Doors Down. Yeah.
What's that kind of a voice?
It's like that weird, like Creed.
Creed?
Creed. But I
Creed,
could
that's
sing.
how
I
they
know
should-
what. Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could sing as Creed, but I couldn't sing anywhere else. And I thought there was a moment where I thought to myself, he doesn't talk like that. Maybe that's my singing voice.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his
Your
singing voice.
voice was like Darius Rucker when you were a child.
Does he talk like that?
I don't know.
No. Yeah, do you think the guy from Creed's like, hey, can I get something for you? No. Scott Stapp, he don't do that.
But that's how you had your good.
That's
good
how I could
voice.
hit my voice. So how did you find your voice?
So I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm not a singer. Like I can't sing at like on command. I can't sing other people's songs. I can't sing cover songs. I could sing my songs, because like I wrote them and it's something I used to be really, really self-conscious about, because music is one of those things where it's painting and art is something where you could look at and you could be like, I don't get it. And then somebody could be like, here's $5 million. I love it.
Right.
Right. Music is one of those things where you know when it's wrong. You know when it's not right, or
It's not as subjective as the other ones.
you know. So it was one of those things early on where like when you try to get people to listen to music, they want to hear that you have a good voice. You're like, I make music. So I'm still not the best singer, but I put all of my effort into making it work around the writing.
Right.
For me, the writing is super important. And so I was really self-conscious about it, but now I'm just like, I've gotten to the point where enough people like it, where, you know, like people in countries, I don't even know what language they speak, are like playing my music in like their cars, and it's a really crazy, weird thing to like wrap your head around, but like people enjoy it. And so I'm doing something right. And so I think like my voice with my music is something that I think goes together well. But yeah, I mean, I wish I could just like belt, you know, like I'm jealous of,
you don't
like,
get the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's just, that's just for me. People are always like, oh, you're a singer. Go ahead. And like, my type of singing, I can't do for you right now.
Yeah.
Like,
you have a costume?
I'll blow out these microphones. I can't
You know?
be like suddenly just.
Like, I think so.
I'd rather sing like you, just
Like,
where I could just like, it's simple,
chill.
it's real.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that was on Broadway and now like a pop star? What's his name? Guy that
Ben
Ben
Platt.
Platt. Ben Platt. Like, that guy could sing anything.
Sure.
Yeah.
At any
Yes.
time, and he came from theater.
Yeah.
And like theater people could, although like those theater people, like people, I feel like there's like different sections of theater people. I don't know.
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
yeah.
Like they could sing anything. So like if you compare, like if I compare myself to those people, nothing. But like you take some other artists today, they don't
Yeah,
have
look at Jack Johnson.
exactly Jack
Same-
Johnson,
same.
Bob Dylan. You know, all these
Right.
people,
Right.
right? Like
Scott Stapp from Creed. Mm-hmm. I learned how to play keyboard. People are like, "Oh, you play piano?" Nah, no. I play rhythm keyboard. Like, I could play like a Doors song because it's the same chord, just like like I'm like easy.
Yeah.
But if you want me to sit and play piano, man, oh, you are out of luck,
no,
baby.
yeah.
No.
the nerve of people. Like we had cousins giving the other weekend, and there was a piano there, and like naturally, you know, it was like, oh, play a song on the piano, whatever. I sit down at the piano, you know, play Piano Man. So you know how difficult Piano Man is?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess we're talking about Billy Joel.
Right, of course.
Right.
Like, you know,
He
difficult,
is the
you know
Piano
how
Man.
difficult that is?
Play New
Yeah.
York State of Mind.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
So what you wind up playing?
What did we play? We played some Shallow. We played some Watermelon Sugar.
Okay.
Oh, there you
Played,
go.
we played some hits.
Yeah.
You know, some belters. Ti Amo. Come
Yeah,
Fly.
yeah. Well,
okay.
that's
Yeah.
the thing, right? If you can get the chords out there, I can sit down and I have no idea how many times I've sat at the piano, been impressed with what I've pulled out, and Danielle, after an hour, comes out of the room and she's like, "I feel like I might know what song that is
Yeah, but okay.
because I only play chords,
But it doesn't even matter. I have the worst ear.
literally
you're
and figuratively."
But
Right.
you're a visual artist. You're a visual artist. You've been a visual artist your whole life. That's where your brain is
I'll
trained that
paint you
way.
a picture. I'll paint
Right.
you a picture.
Right,
You want a picture?
exactly.
Great. I'll paint you a picture
Right.
anytime.
Yeah.
She got the tin ear. No, is that right? Tin ear is like
You have a tin ear,
Tin ear is
like a
you're-
grandma
you're
with the
deaf,
ear.
right.
You have an ear horn,
no,
yeah, you
no.
telling me that I'm that guy with the whole...
like a gramophone tube
She got
coming
a
out.
grandpa- No, but she says she doesn't have the best ear, and also she has the worst hearing as well.
Got it.
That's
Okay, got it.
putting those two things together. So yeah, she never knows what I'm playing.
Yeah, you gotta come ready, because I feel like, oh, you're a musician, play me something.
Yeah. Well, that
You
happens.
know,
It's like a
it's
challenge.
like you're a comedian. Tell me a joke.
Right, right.
What's this alter ego voice?
Well,
you
I
just
like that
brought up
person.
now, so late in the game.
So
Who is that?
so for me,
Go ahead, tell me a joke.
what I was gonna say, and I'll figure all this out by the way. What I was gonna say was, you don't know me all that well. If you had my singing voice, you couldn't play those songs.
Yeah. Like,
You're like,
like the best singer in the world would sound horrible, and like
yeah,
the way I
that's
you
what
know,
I'm
the
saying.
way I play
I'm
it.
the best singer in the
Here's
world.
my assessment.
And just like
of
I
you.
would sound horrible on like a really high,
This guy's
like,
in Guys and
Whitney Houston.
Dolls and be like, maybe it won't work.
Roll them. Okay. My assessment of you is this: after listening to you play live, you guy from Marine Park. Now, I don't know you that well, but there's something so stripped down and in a good way simple about you, where the way you look, the way you dress, you're wearing Converse.
You're very simple.
No,
yeah.
Unpretentious.
Yeah.
You're wearing Converse. You're wearing sweatpants. You're playing this guitar that has a piece of tape on it. We'll get into it. Your song, the lyrics are clean and simple. The melody's simple. Your voice is simple. It's profound what you're doing, but you are in alignment with yourself. You're not playing some shit that's not you. You just sounds like you.
Right.
And that's what I think makes you very successful.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
much.
You could tell the genuineness is there.
So we want to change you. We have some outfits outside.
Yeah. So I have a cajon for you to play.
The tape, you want to talk
Yes.
about?
Tell me about
Yes.
the tape. Keep
You want to hold it up? I mean, so they.
Oh, yeah.
Can you just,
So
it
all
with you
of
because then we're gonna
my-
play a game.
All of my guitars, I have a bunch of them, are all named after famous primates or.
incredible.
So,
What?
That's amazing.
so the very first guitar I had was very, very small, and his name was Oscar, named after there was a Disney film with like a live chimpanzee. It was like called Chimpanzee the movie. It was a thing called
Oh, the
Oscar.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the first real guitar I bought was another small guitar, and his name was Abu.
Sure.
You know
And
that one.
Sam Ash tried to rip me off. They tried to like give me like a bag, charge me the price of a new guitar, but get me a used guitar, whatever. I returned it. Got a different guitar. That's Abu 2.
Mm.
We have Kong. We have Turk at home.
Turk
Turk from
course.
Tarzan.
Yeah.
Phil Collins.
Collins.
Back to Phil
Shots
Collins.
Naturally.
I have Boots. I have a blue electric guitar. His name
Those
is
Boots.
Boots. Dora.
My blue.
Oh,
Yeah,
Boots.
Boots. And I have Joe Young, who's like the big guitar.
Joe Young.
You don't have.
Oh,
you don't have
mighty Joe Young.
a broken one in the corner. That's Harambe.
No, I
Dead
no.
guitar.
There's. I think I'm like all out of names, honestly.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Goes,
But yeah, it was just-
Planet of the Apes. I'm trying to think. This one's name is Dr. Zayas.
This is Trollton.
Because when I would go around and I had like little cards, I would just draw. The only thing I could draw was like monkeys. Like I could draw like a little thing, and I don't know. I like them, and so they were like, I don't know. At the time, like artists that I liked had like, I don't know. One artist had like a paw that he would just like draw on everything. I was like, I need a thing.
Yeah.
I don't have a thing. You know, the 2 X's with the smiley face was taken.
What were you Google searching simple images to put in autographs?
I just needed like a thing, you know. It couldn't
your
just
thing.
be a shape. It
Yeah.
was something that I always drew on like my family's cards and stuff because it was the only thing I knew how to draw.
Right.
I couldn't even draw a dog. I can't even draw. Honestly, I can't even draw a monkey. It's just the way I do it.
Yeah.
It's just.
But where are you drawing this monkey?
I was drawing, and I'm like, I needed to make like business cards.
What?
I needed to make like cards to give out at open mics.
So you put the monkey on the card.
So I would put my name, the monkey on the card. I would like, I don't know, I'd like write it in my friends' notebooks.
But why don't you have the monkey on your hat right now? That's what you should be doing.
That's-
Merchandising.
yeah, merch.
Look at the
Merchandising.
blanket behind you.
It's
the
about
pillow.
merchandising. Look,
I
everything
gotta
has
take
our
some
name
notes on
on it.
merchandising because I do want to do. I want to make stuff. Like I'm always wearing a hat. Hats like, you know. So I do want to, you know, do stuff like that and really expand that way.
Well, Danielle's a graphic designer. We'll talk.
So, yeah, I don't know how to get my drawing into like a program
Danielle
and get
knows
it
how to-
like.
Danielle's
doing it for you right now?
I'll do it for you.
Excellent.
All right. So then I could, and then you can name my next guitar.
Wow.
What? What an honor.
Caesar, Planet of the Apes.
No, who's the monkey from Friends?
Oh, what's the monkey's name from
Didn't
Friends?
Ross have a
Adele.
monkey?
What's
Oh
the
my
monkey's
God! What's his
name?
name? Marty.
Marvin
Mar.
No,
Morris?
people are angry right now.
Maurice?
No,
Maurice.
no, it
Oh,
wasn't.
Yeah, it's Maurice.
It's not like we all have
I
computers
think it
in
had
our
a
pockets.
Q on it. There's
A
a Muppet
Q?
monkey. There's a Muppet monkey named Salmonella.
I'm fairly certain it's Maurice.
Yeah.
It is Marcel.
Marcel.
Close. Right.
So let's play a rating game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna flip the script a little bit. Rather than you rate, you're gonna have us rate.
Okay.
Okay, we've never done this ever.
I want you to take the guitar, and I want you to play a chord or a note, and we will tell you what in our minds that note tells
Feels
us,
like?
and we'll give it to you. We'll rate it in
Monkeys.
monkeys. Any chord, we'll tell you how it makes us feel.
Okay.
Frank
Play
goes
like
first.
a song that you would know, or just a regular.
No,
No,
just play
just-
a song. Play a,
not
not a song.
a
Just
chord.
play a chord, or even one lone note,
We're
and
ready.
we'll tell you what that note.
All right. Give me one.
Ooh,
Oh, Johnny Cash. This is a dusty highway.
one more. Give me the same one. Yeah,
It's,
it's
dust,
deep.
it's a dusty highway. You knew that was an E?
No, I said it's deep.
I was like, holy shit, you have perfect pitch. It's a dusty highway. I like it. What's going to happen next?
Yeah,
8 monkeys.
great. Oh, this is light. We're opening something, welcoming you into the song.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, I'm gonna give that one. Give it again. Okay, so that one's gonna be like a 5 because that one doesn't happen in the middle of a song. Play it one more time. Ready? All right. Well, here we go. We got the story now. We're gonna play for you. That's opening.
Yeah.
It's not in the middle of a song. You don't get that in the middle of a
That's
song.
the storyteller sitting.
Yeah. It's very Raffy.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh man, he just got out of jail.
Just got out
Thank
of
God.
jail.
And he's going home to see the baby mama. Let me hear it again.
Yeah.
You don't know what life was like. Loop it for me. Loop it for me. A little closer to the mic. Yo, you don't know what life was like for me inside. They treated me real dirty in there. Yeah, that's it. I'm all right. I know it. This is how our brains work.
Yeah.
We need medicine.
Yeah.
Jack Daniels whiskey.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah,
okay.
that's
He's
it,
going
right.
to baby mama.
Or like something just happened on a dramatic TV show where it's dusty and someone just walked off and that's how they're transitioning scenes.
Do it. Let's do it.
I can't do it. I said it. That's it. They just left.
Bill, come back.
All right. Give me one. Me again?
I'm giving you a better one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
that sounded like you got a fast car. What's that
No,
song?
that's
Oh,
Blackbird?
yeah.
What is that?
it's that Justin Bieber tune.
Justin
I don't know if
Bieber.
I can
Okay,
play it.
you
I don't
just-
think
Guys
I
out
can
here talking
take it
about
down.
Tracy
Justin-
Chapman. He's
Justin Bieber.
so give me
Okay.
now that we know you spoiled what song it is. Give me a different one. Oh, so this is we're driving. Hit me again. Keep going with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
driving. We're moving, and I'm gonna sing you a song about my life. I'm gonna tell you about the heartbreak that came along with me
Go for it.
and the girl who left me.
Tell us.
She was in my car,
Yep.
and she left me there.
Yep.
And I put on my clothes.
And
I
your
combed my hair. Wow, you're hitting my. You're getting in on my.
Underwear.
Underwear is clothes.
What do you like your clothes?
Underwear is
I'm
clothes.
sorry. Do it again.
All right, no.
Underwear.
He's got it. He's got it.
Yeah,
It's
underwear, that's
Wonderwall.
what I'm
It's
saying.
Wonderwall.
My underwear.
All right, give Frank another
All
one.
right,
Frank,
go ahead.
Frank stepping on my
Try
rhymes.
to make mine not sound like it's from the South. Okay, go ahead.
No. I'll give you a better one.
Yeah. It's probably the last day we're gonna see Grandma, kids. So let's get to the hospital.
Oh wow.
That's how it feels to me. Everyone, they're all kissing Grandma on the forehead goodbye. She's out. She doesn't realize it. Holy night.
Oh,
the
you went. Oh, holy night. I
stars-
went. Elvis. Wise man. say,
Either way, Grandma's dead. Okay.
only fools rush in. Only fools rushing. All right, give me another chord.
We'll do
Do
a
we
few
want the
chords.
girls to pick? They don't want to do it.
Do you want to pick girls?
They're mortified.
Every
now.
time he says the girls, that part of me is like yes and no because I know they don't really want to.
All right, ready?
Oh, this is me sitting on the college campus. We're all sitting in a circle. I want
Come to
everybody
Bridgman High.
come over. Yeah. I want everybody to come sit with me,
Yeah.
and we're gonna talk. We're gonna sing about teachers. Is that what they do on college campuses? I never sat. My ass never touched that grass not once.
Come to Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio Hall.
I was thinking of like the name of a college.
That's the best school building.
Yeah, the college building,
Arsenio
Hall. I wish my school, Brooklyn College, should have an Arsenio Hall. That's great. How have I never? Are you sure you're not a comedian? How have I never thought of that before?
That's so funny. Where's your class? It's in Arsenio Hall.
All right, play some chords for Frank. I want Frank to make up a song.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, get into it.
I don't know. A song about what? What does this feel like to me? Oh, the tough guys back at the bar again.
Yeah, he is.
They rolled up again.
Yeah.
They're coming after me because I'm dating this girl now. I don't have a song for this though. You get it on.
Get me a drink, buy me a shot. Tell me where you gotta go because I gotta drink a lot tonight. That's what I need.
That's what he needs.
What I need is a drink. My girl, she left me all alone. Now I gotta go back to an empty house and home. I need a drink.
Good.
Hey, drink. Great, thank you. Beautiful.
That was great.
We should be writing partners. Just write. Be BS
that
lyrics.
to an empty house and home. That worked.
Yeah. I
Really
like
good.
it.
was
All
really
right.
good.
Well, Danielle used to work for ASCAP. Could you get me some rights? Thanks for that. Thank you. Okay. So I teased a little something before, and I have to. We don't have to talk about it, but I want to come around on it. When I was like, "Oh, this is a controversial thing," I was going to talk about. Have you heard this thing that they're coming after people like the guy from Maroon 5 for doing blackface voice? Have you heard this?
No.
Adele, do you know about this? You're on TikTok.
Not really.
No? Yeah. So the Maroon 5 guy, what's his name?
Mick
Adam
Jagger.
Levine.
Yeah, Adam.
No, not Mick Jagger.
Adam Levine.
He's like Mick Jagger.
Adam Levine.
Yeah, Adam Levine.
Yeah, Adam
when he
Levine.
sings, they say that he has intonation as if he is stealing from other cultures, not of his own.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying that should be outlawed, which is why I was thinking when I was like, we were talking about singing voices, right? And I was like, that's kind of a controversial comment because people are really up in arms a little bit about it because they're like, if he says a certain way, but he doesn't say it when he's talking, he says it when he's singing, is he appropriating culture?
Is he trying to?
No.
Then there it is.
I think music is such like a great thing because, like, you don't necessarily see the person singing it, and you don't know who it's about. Like for the longest time, I still to this day I love Sam Smith.
Mm.
I love
Yep.
Sam Smith. When people found out that he was singing songs about another guy, they stopped listening to Sam. What?
Right.
What?
Like, it's about what you think. First of all,
Yep.
nothing wrong with what it's really about. Second of all, it could be about what you need it to be about. It's what
Exactly.
music is. Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and
right.
that's why I don't really necessarily dig too deep into like explaining my lyrics and stuff like that because there's so many songs that I've loved growing up and love now that I use for for certain things that like get me through things or to just listen when I enjoy it. And if I feel like if I knew what it was really about, then it would lose connection to me.
Right.
What
Right.
might be about love for somebody might be about heartbreak for me. I might relate to heartbreak and stuff like that. I feel like when you lose you lose that connection, and I feel like that whole Adam Levine thing is just like I don't know.
It is. You got to pull from it what you pull from it, right?
Yeah.
But so
Um,
when you said you were a headphone kid, right? As a kid, I with most things, this show I'm learning a lot about myself as we go through the show. So I want to ask you before I explain where I'm at, and I'm going to ask Frank too. When you were listening to music as a young child, headphone kid, right? Because I was very much also. What were you hearing? What were you taking away from the music? Were you breaking down the pieces? Because as a producer, right, you produce also. You're hearing all the different pieces.
Yeah.
Was that happening for you?
No. So, I don't know. As a young kid, I would just like my parents weren't musicians or anything like that. It would just be like pop music in the house. And then once I got to high school, I started to like look for different types of music and stuff, and the production stood out to me, but never like, oh, how'd they do this? How'd they do that? It was more so they were saying things, and this is like the beauty of music and any kind of creative writing. They're saying things that I've heard before in ways that I've never heard before.
Right.
Right? Like there's ways to say I love you, and then there's ways to really kind of switch it around and put it into different words. And I felt like I was resonating with what I was hearing because it wasn't so black and white. I really had to like think about it. It provoked thought from me. So that alone really drew me to like, okay, maybe I could try this. Maybe I could write something like this.
Yeah.
But at that time, I wasn't necessarily thinking. I was thinking like, wow, this is really speaking to me. Like, this is awesome.
You felt it.
Yeah, I felt it.
This is a question I have, and we're still staying in John's questions, and this is going to sound like I'm not a person and I'm an alien wearing a human outfit right now. When you listen to music, and this may be just open to the room, especially to Pasquale, when you listen to music to get you through something, are you listening to music that is a reflection of what you're currently feeling because it's validating, or music to move you out of the space you're in to some other place? Or both.
When I was growing up, I never was like, I got to put on this song because it helps me. I just found I would listen to music, and then those would be the soundtracks to those particular things. Like I would, whether I was, my friends had canceled plans or they went out without me or anything like that, and was just felt really by myself, I would just listen to music, and it would just pass the time. I wouldn't sit there and like cry to like this music and like punch at this music, but like a week later, 2 weeks later, I would hear that song again, and I'd be like, okay, this song helped me through that night.
Got it.
Not necessarily not directly,
not consciously. As
Right. But it's when you just associate songs or something with a particular time period or situation.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me. And then being able to remember lyrics or pull lyrics from it is what, like, because I would hear these lyrics and I would look at them. I would look at the lyrics then and I'd be like, wow, without melody, without anything, this is just like a beautiful way of saying things.
Right.
And I was just like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah. So I what I realize now is that as a young person, when you were probably listening to you were listening to pop music, what kind of things were you listening to when you say you're a headphone kid? What would you, just as an example, a couple things? Like
what was I listening to, like music wise? Like,
yeah.
So, I had two older sisters, so it was a lot of Backstreet Boys, a lot of Spice Girls.
Classic.
Then because my uncle would come around and he would ask all the time, like, he would ask my older sister, like, what's the song? What's the song now? What's the juice? What's the juice? And so he would always ask her, and I'd be like, oh, I'm asking me. I'm gonna go listen. Yeah. So then, like, I was listening to like Nelly,
Sure.
And so I was listening to all that, and my dad, strangely enough, had like a weird country phase. And he's like,
okay,
he's like he's not country at all. It was just strictly Garth Brooks. He bought like a cowboy hat once. My mom's
very
he
Garth
won't let my
Brooks.
mom throw it out. Yeah. So
I like that.
And then he thinks like he loves like what I do and stuff.
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah.
sick.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm realizing now that, like, yes, I was a very musically inclined kid. I mean, I wasn't musically inclined at all, as a matter of fact, but I was musically invested, right, as a kid. But when I think back to what I was listening to, it was all soundtracks. It was all like, it was all like, while people were listening to pop and Danielle was like listening to the Black Parade over and over again, I was listening to the Blues Brothers soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And I realize now, as I think about it, what it is I take away from the music. Why I never felt like I wanted to write music, because for me, I was never so interested in the story. I was never so interested in the music. I was interested in the story that the music told, right? Like, I think as a young person listening to music, I always would set a narrative in my head as if it was a musical, as if that song was telling a story. 100%. Here's the characters, this is what it plays out. So I was not ever really listening to the, now the musicality of it gets through to me, but like the intent of the music, I never needed to listen. I never listened to an album.
So you were never like the main character in any of the music videos that you used to hear and like.
No, it's funny that you say that. I distinctly remember a moment, and this is gonna come out of left field. I love the movie Pleasantville with Tobey Maguire and
John Goodman.
No, not John. It's not John Goodman. It's Jeff Daniels.
Right.
But not because.
That's one where he's in the army and he like comes home and flips out in his kitchen.
Oh no, that's the brothers. That's the one with the I
was like, it doesn't sound pleasant over there.
No. Pleasantville is the one where the two teenagers get sent into the old school TV
black
show.
And white one?
Black and white.
And things turn color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I watched the movie recently with Danielle, and I was like, oh, this movie's very good, but it's not. The part that I remember from this movie is not in it, and it's because I had seen that movie. And then using those characters, wrote a totally different story in my head to the soundtrack of the music I was listening to. And it was always the same story. And I would remember it. Like, I watched movies like, oh, when does Jeff Daniels do the thing? He doesn't. That was in my head. To an unrelated song. It's just those were the characters that was in my head. That was the song that was playing. I'm going to take those characters and tell the story. And I think that's why less musically, I leaned less musically and more narratively as far as on-stage performance and direction and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's what I heard, what I took away from the music.
It's interesting. I feel like I was always in like the music video. I was, this on like long car rides or bus rides or train
And
rides.
your head is on the window, and you're like the
Head's
sad
on the
girl.
windows, and you're like, I was in like whatever middle school or high school, and it was like, the girl I like is gonna get robbed, and I'm gonna flip the table and jump over and like hurt and like beat this kid up. Like I was like the superhero.
It was
in,
always
like,
you.
These, and,
Yeah,
and,
I wasn't like that.
because I was like listening to like these songs, and then like I would go to school and like she wouldn't even know who I was.
No, I never wanted to be involved.
That's pretty cool.
Wow, that's really interesting to
Yeah.
think about.
Frank, what about you? What about you? Did you have...
Sure. So very similar to you, and I'm thinking about this as you guys are talking because I never really considered music in my life. Because I would say, Danielle loves music, but Danielle's a visual artist, and I am a visual guy more so than a musical guy because I'm an only child, and I would always just draw. I saw my cousins on the weekends, but weekdays after school, no friends came over. It was weekdays, do your homework. What am I going to do? I would draw all the time. But with drawing, I would listen to stuff, right? But I would kind of listen to what was around, and like, again, no siblings. So like my mom, my grandma, sometimes my father, like we'd go to a Broadway show, right? So there was like the Phantom of the Opera CD was in the house, and like others, and Showboat was in the house on CD. And then I had a weird taste like you, because 2 CDs I remember having that must have come because I wanted them. So weird. So weird. Soundtrack to Jurassic Park.
Sure.
Not so weird. Here's the weird one. They sold it on TV. That's most certainly where I saw it and needed it. Pure Moods. Do you remember this?
I know you love Pure
Okay.
Moods. I know you love Pure
So
Pure
I
Moods.
am... Picture it,
You
viewer.
might be too young for this. The commercial for Pure Moods. Are you familiar?
Hi, hi, oh,
Yeah, the
hi,
Enya one. It's not
There's
Enya. She's on the
She's
soundtrack.
on it. There's Return to Innocence. There's Sail Away, Sail Away.
Yeah, they play the music. They play the commercial in the middle of the night. Always.
It was clearly for burnout, hippie, transcendental. It wasn't for little Brooklyn me in
For
4th
Slice
grade.
Catherine.
But
Right.
But
That's right.
here's why
He was
I
wearing
liked
sandals.
it. Here's why I liked it. Because I was obsessed with magic tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandma would tape for me all the magic shows that were on. David Copperfield, Lance Burton, America's Greatest Magic, whatever it was, World's Greatest Magicians. Yes, I look at magic now and I'm like, I still like it, but I'm like, look at these tools. I see that now. But then, these were gods to me. But that was what the music was like in these. They would like cut the woman in half, fly up on the swords,
Right, they
whatever
would
they
play
do.
that kind of music,
and it was
yeah.
that sort of, and it was like
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me,
yeah.
I thought it was awesome. Now I think they're
Go see
ridiculous.
David Copperfield now. He plays it way too loud.
You told me that. So
Way too loud.
So I would listen to that stuff, and sometimes I would do magic tricks in my mirror. I would do magic tricks. I had like stupid little magic tricks, whatever, and then I would draw and listen to that stuff. And then the quick story is, I realized though pretty early on, my taste in music is not like everybody else's who were coming in with rap, and I'm going home with Pure Moods. I should have beat myself up, but I shoved my own head in the toilet at home. But I remember in maybe 3rd grade, we had, I don't know if I ever told you this, we had in art in our classroom, she would let us bring in our own music if you wanted to play it for the class. Mm-hmm. And I was so proud because I had my portable Discman with the 2 external speakers, and I remember having it in like a tote bag, and she knew it was my turn, and I was like, oh man, I got this Jurassic Park CD, I know it's good, I know this is the jam for me. I was like, oh, I love this, and literally I can get choked up saying the story, and I don't want to get choked up because it's so embarrassing. And she was like, okay, Frankie, that was me, oh, we're going to do art drawing now, you want to put your music on for the class? I was like, yeah, it was great. So as I'm walking up to the front room, now nobody said anything to me, they didn't. I didn't think of it beforehand, and I got to the front of the room and I started taking things out. I said, they're gonna make fun of me. Mm-hmm. And I was so excited to play it. And I lied and I said the CD player didn't work.
No.
I did. I'm getting choked up now and I'm an adult. And I like acted like it. Well, I was trying and fixing plugs, and then I just put it away. Isn't that terrible? I literally feel emotions right now saying that.
That not that, but like 8th grade Halloween.
Oh, it's gonna go down.
Yep, 8th grade dance, Halloween dance. I wasn't the most popular kid, but I was going to the 8th grade dance, and I didn't know 8th grade was like too cool to dress up. You know,
Right. Yeah.
You know?
here I
So-
am in my
I
Eminem costume.
haven't learned that yet.
So they're in like, pumpkin t-shirts and jeans and they're running around with stuff. So I'm at home. I wish there was like a split screen of them like putting on like their cool stuff, and then my mom like
They're grinding on
my
each
mom
other.
like putting my jacket on. I'm like, I'm gonna go as Zorro.
Adele loves
Hey,
it.
Zorro is the lover.
So I'm dressed.
Did you show up as Zorro? Oh God!
Gets worse.
You had that thing over your eyes.
Danielle's making him feel terrible.
Wait, it gets worse. I had. Wait,
Write a song about this.
I had.
Oh, please write
It's
a song
called
called
Z.
Please write a song called Zorro.
So I had the hat. I had the blindfold.
Oh my God!
The worst part.
I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. I know it. I know it.
I was Antonio Banderas. That's why I had the mustache.
Yeah, you gotta have the mustache. I knew you were gonna say
Drawn on.
So I got there, and I was wearing a blue jacket, a blue coat, and I walk in.
Wait, stop. Can you just strum while you're telling the story? Just give us a little, set the talk and strum.
So
You walk in.
I walk in, and they're all in pajamas. Or, you know how they wear like the Halloween pajamas? It's like the cool thing.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And they're in their cool t-shirts and jerseys.
And here he is.
Here he comes.
Here he comes. Cape and all.
Here he comes.
Zorro.
I was wearing a cape,
If sure.
a blue jacket.
The jacket over the Zorro.
I walk into the gym,
you have a
jacket
sword?
and all. No weapons. So I walk into the gym, and nobody's dressed up. And coat lady comes up to me and is like, "Want me to take your coat?" Nope. Nope. So I take my blindfold off, hat off, and I put it in my coat. And I stand in the corner with a very, very big blue coat.
No!
With a hat underneath it, a mask underneath it. I'm sweating. I was sweating.
Yeah.
And nothing but a fake mustache.
Drawn on.
And not even the removable ones.
No.
Not like I'm wearing a mustache. No, I'm not. It was
Yeah.
Did anybody? He was like the youngest chaperone.
Yeah.
Did anybody say anything to you?
the kids were like, "Hey, let's go out. You dress up? What's up, man?"
They probably would have been fine with it.
And I was like, it's nice and cool over here. I'm by the juice. They had the juice. I never
love
drank so
that.
much juice in my life. I don't know.
Became diabetic.
I don't know how long school dances are. I don't know.
That was the longest
20
one there
years?
ever was. Right? 20 years?
15
setup.
years.
What a
15 years at
20
least.
years at
At
least.
least. Got in the car. Mom was like, "How was it?" I don't know. I don't know.
Bringing up a
Horrible.
lot of feelings here.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
But you know, it's funny. Everybody goes through these things in their youth, right? These uncomfortable situations, right? But eventually, you realize that you were fine to be you the whole time. Mm-hmm. You know,
That there were things that I used to not like about myself, but just not show that side of people.
yeah,
Side of myself to people. You know, like my creative side or my vulnerable side, or, you know, the side where I'm a little bit different or original. You know, I felt like that wasn't okay when I was a kid.
right.
Like I
Of
felt
course.
like
you never know. No kid does, right?
And it's crazy because now it's celebrated or embraced,
Yeah.
or, you know,
Yeah.
you have your it's great. You have your own thing or your own,
Right.
you know, but when you're a
Individuality
kid,
is
it's
now
it's
embraced.
difficult. It's difficult to understand that. And I'm able to, like, the whole headphone kid thing and all that stuff. Like, I never realized the impact that music had on me until now.
Right.
I didn't realize I didn't realize it was having an impact on me until I looked back and was like, and my dad said something like one day, like, I don't know when the hell you like music. Like when you never played anything as like when you were a kid and stuff like that. And it was like, I don't know. Like I just don't know. And then thinking back, it's just a bunch of things just came together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy how things like I probably would have been okay.
Right.
It probably would have been healthier for me to.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I know you guys have a little bit more experience in this than I do. But as adults, we say it's embraced. As kids, it's still not really embraced.
Yeah, no.
No, but
right, no.
Kids still go through that even though the world is in a different place.
For sure.
Because
the scariest thing as a kid is to be seen by
right.
a lot of people, which, for some kids, for a lot of kids, the scariest thing is any sort of attention. Mm-hmm. They would rather, negative attention,
Right.
They would rather look silly than look, I don't know.
Unique.
Yeah.
I know that life. So I think what I want to do is I want to jump to now real quick because I want to wrap up, but I want to talk about what you're up to now.
Yeah.
We've talked about how you got here.
Yeah.
We really haven't talked about what here is.
Mm-hmm.
So your stuff is on Spotify.
Yeah.
Do you classify it by albums, EPs, singles?
So, everything I'm doing now is I'm able to create and release when I want, and I don't want to oversaturate kind of the people who support my music. Like I want to give people a chance to let the music sink in,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm always writing and I'm always looking forward to things for things to come. But album wise, it's just one of those things where I could put an album out, but I would want to get more people to get invested in an album because there's so much in an album and I want to make sure I do it right. I've put out a few EPs, like 5 songs that all have the same kind of instrumentation and things like that. And so, but for now it's just singles and maybe some EPs, but the album will come somewhere down the line. Like
Eventually, right.
Yeah, like I write. There's some songs that I don't release and I'm keeping for that album. Like I love them so much and they're so personal and I think people could really connect with them. But yeah, right now it's just kind of enjoying people who are around the world and really,
Yeah.
because the United States is so big. So I find it not easier, but more often than not, the success that I have, whether it's like a magazine article or a blog thing or this is coming from overseas.
Overseas, right. Have you ever played overseas?
No, because honestly, I started seeing that success when 2020 hit. So my plan is at some point early 2022 to do like a live stream concert, like a full blown, like do it right, invest the money, invest the time,
Yeah.
and then $5 to see it, 10 whatever.
Love
it is.
it. Yeah.
To kind of, get an audience on a new platform, whether it's Twitch or Facebook or something like that. But yeah, I think that's where music is headed because, the whole, it's New York City, baby. Get out there and just play on the street.
Right.
I've played in parks. I've busked.
Yeah.
I've busked. I've had
We
my.
love a busk.
Everybody loves a good busker.
I've had my guitar case out. I've
Yeah.
outside venues. I played some of the like very big places in New York City, and like
Penn
it's
Station. For
it's
one.
all it's all Central Park.
Right.
It's all it's a lot of it's pay to play.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it, like they make it seem like if you get here, you're gonna play in front of all these people, and someone's gonna be somebody and whatever. These places want you to go, and they want you to bring people.
Yeah.
And then you end up, like I was a sucker for this early when I was doing it. I would bring people, and those are the only people I played for.
Right.
I could
Terrible.
Right.
did this in the living room.
Right.
Now I'm paying this guy X amount of money because I feel bad charging my friends. I'm paying everything,
Right.
and so,
No.
yeah, it's not what I thought it would be, and so the shift in marketing, the shift in the way music is distributed and played, is definitely on the path where I'm more comfortable. But then again, the market gets so saturated.
Yeah.
Right. But
Right.
it's
Because
also
you get
bringing people to you instead of
Yeah.
necessarily you having to lego literally go out.
Exactly.
Would you ever play in the metaverse?
Sure. I mean,
would.
like I'm very glad that I played to empty rooms. I've played with broken microphones. I've played with all this stuff. I've played to one drunk guy at a bar once, because
John loved that show, by the way.
It was my favorite.
Because-
That's how we found him.
a lot of the people nowadays, like who go viral on this or viral on that, you step into a label, or you step into people with actual producers. Could you do it, or was it a one-time thing?
Absolutely.
Right.
I could play sick, I could play hurt, I could play in a very tight space, I could play the guitar, I could play the piano. So I always made sure I was ready in case something happened and someone was like, all right, play me something.
Right.
Play me something, your whole career depends on it.
Imagine that.
Right? And that's always in my head. So I always made sure that I was very, very prepared and ready to do that, because I knew that the person next to me wasn't. And I always say it because there are some extremely, extremely talented people, and I'm sure you guys could relate that some really, really talented people who do not do what they are the most talented in. Right. And so I always said, like, I'm not the most talented guy, like, but I'm willing to work harder than a lot of people.
Right.
Like, work hard beats talent every day of the week. I have 2 cousins that are professional soccer players, and I tell them that all the time. Every time. I know kids that were insane on the piano. Insane. Perfect pitch, all this stuff.
They don't use it.
They don't use it.
Right.
They just think,
It's going to come. Right.
Yeah.
You got to hustle.
Yeah.
They just think someone's going to ring the doorbell.
Right. I wish somebody would ring my doorbell right now. But so I want you to close us out with a song, if that's
Yes.
okay.
Uh-huh.
I just want to say briefly, I want to thank you for doing this.
Thank you. This was so fun.
I want to plug
podcast.
your. Oh yeah. I mean, having you here has been great.
You stopped
Yeah.
on saying, I want to plug your... Let's
No.
wrap that sentence up before we move
Yeah.
on.
Keep
I
going.
want. No, I want you to plug all your stuff. Where can people find you? Where
So you can find me everywhere at Pasquale Gee, PASQUALE space GEE, Pasquale Gee _ on Instagram, Pasquale Gee on Twitter. If you search Pasquale Gee, my friend, I think I'm Googleable now. So,
Hey, we love a good Googleable.
so if
Good
you
SEO.
Google Pasquale
You
Gee or
can
any,
look right into the camera and say, I'm Googleable.
I'm Googleable.
Yeah.
Ladies.
There you go. Ladies, I'm on the Google.
Ladies, you got Google?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You got a smartphone?
you Google anything Pasquale Gee or anything that's spelled like Pasquale Gee.
Quick, Danielle, buy the domain for GE.
Yeah. J.
We'll
Yeah.
sell it to you.
So I just want to thank you for doing this. Before we send you out, you're going to send us off with a song. And I want to say, I think you're wrong about yourself a little bit. You said when coming in that you're not the most outgoing guy and that you're kind of quiet and that that's not true. I don't find that to be true. And you probably know that's not true, but it's not. I mean, just because you're reserved doesn't mean that you're not outgoing. I mean, you have taken it upon yourself to follow a goal and a dream that wasn't necessarily always the dream. It came upon you when you were a little bit older and we're like, I'm going to do it. And then you're doing it. Like, there is no quiet, reserved, not outgoing person that would do that. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Like,
That's nice.
so I think your genuineness comes through in your music and in your personality, and I think that's what I've learned as we're going through this is like, and I'm not telling you to change your opinion of yourself, but because I think that opinion is a good opinion to have, it helps. But I think
You're wrong.
You're wrong. No, I mean, I say this to all of our guests a lot of the time, but like, I think you're amazing. I think what you do is pretty amazing.
You.
Like,
Yeah.
and not just because I don't do it,
Mm-hmm.
but because to get there and actually be doing it and to be able to classify yourself as a singer-songwriter,
Crazy.
that's all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys definitely. I'm very comfortable. Like you guys made it.
Well,
Like,
We slipped something in your drink.
No,
earlier.
perfect.
no. Well,
That's what it is.
I'm glad. I appreciate
And
that.
you're drooling and slurring. Danielle, let's get him out.
I mean, most of the people who we have on here, we do know, friends and family. Although Frank.
Yeah, this was I feel like a very loose Like I knew him for a week.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we didn't really.
This is basically a cold interview with a person unrelated to any of us. So
Yeah.
if you're comfortable, if you're comfortable here,
Yeah.
that says a lot about us. It says a lot about you.
Yeah, for sure.
Say it a lot to other people.
Yeah,
Tell
I will.
them to come here.
I will.
Yeah. Listen, Pasquale, I want to thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Well, I want you to take us out with a song.
Yes.
Pull out Kong and show us what you got.
Don't say that.
That kind of party, huh?
I said it already.
It's that kind of it's a jam.
Get yourself comfortable. Even though you said you were already comfortable.
This is called Chips.
Chips. Great.
Yeah.
TV series from the 80s. Let's hit it.
Eric
Estrada.
Okay. Found peace in the middle of crisis, in the basement singing in silence. Found peace in the middle of crisis. Found peace in the middle of crisis, in the basement singing in silence. Found peace in the middle of crisis. Take my hand, dip it in a little chlorine. Everything was bitter so clean. Take my hands, maybe they a little less green. Ends will always justify the means. I used to panic on the line waiting for chips. I was hoping for a day like this. And I'm so glad stuck inside that I found silver lines. I took for granted all the answers, but I never took the time. And I'm so glad stuck inside that I found silver lines. I took for granted all the answers, but I never took the time to work it out. And I found myself in just in time. Hope I don't run out of time. This world, it felt so distant. Felt it all in my mind. Wanna be at the top of your list, but I wasn't at the top of mine. Take my hand, dip it in a little chlorine. Everything was bitter so clean. Take my hands, maybe they a little less green. And they'll always justify the means. I used to panic on the line waiting for chips. I was hoping for a day like this. I'm so glad stuck inside that I found silver lines. I took for granted all the answers, but I never took the time. And I'm so glad stuck inside that I found silver lines. I took for granted all the answers, but I never took the time to work it out. To work it out. I'm so glad stuck inside that I found silver lines. I took for granted all the answers, but I never took the time to work it out.
Beautiful. Love it.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you.
You've been watching the Nothing Podcast with Nobody Important, a cool side production with your hosts, John Panepinto and Frank Caiati. Produced by me, Danielle Rose Fisher, with contributors Tom Zaccheo, Adele Wendt, Doug Shine, Joe Hagopian, and Matt Hunt. Find us online and watch full episodes at nothing-podcast.com. And be sure to review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts are distributed.